and we're here at DS Studios. Today at DS Studios we have a very special guest. His name is Chuck Palahniuk. He is the author of a very successful book called Fight Club. So, Chuck, being an author of a book that criticizes material possessions and having that book be wildly successful, does success challenge at all your original feelings about your own possessions?
No, not really. It's sort of ironic. All those things I dreamt about buying someday, I really don't have that dream anymore. Now I have money because of my book, and I really don't have interest in the same things I did before. I mean, look at me. All my clothes seem to look as they come from Goodwill. My house still sort of looks like hell, I have to admit. At this point, I recognize the burden that things are, and so I really don't want a lot of things. In a big way, I think, thank God I didn't have the money I wanted to buy all these crazy things. I'm really glad that up until this moment I never had those resources to make those big kind of mistakes. I would have not been in the same place I am right now, and I'm happy where I stand in life right now.
All right. Well, thank you for that. That's a very interesting perspective. All right. We're gonna have a few more questions for you after this short commercial break, and then after we'll have our Californian 2010 mixdown. Yeah, party.
I'm a burger and fries kind of guy. And I just don't inhale my burger. I plan it all out. You gotta make sure each bite's got it all. Meat, cheese, onion, tomato. It's no accident that I end up on the perfect last bite.
The Portobello Mushroom $6 burger. More than just a piece of meat. Back at Carl's Jr.
And we're back at DS Studios, here with the Chuck Palahniuk, the author of Fight Club, a very successful book for those of you who are just tuning in. Alright, we got a few more questions for you, Chuck, before we hit our top 20 mixdown 2010 California. Alright, Chuck. So, now you're going to have to tell me a bit about what the book's about, and so what exactly is the name of the main character in Fight Club? Is his name Tyler or Jack or something like that? I remember. Please enlighten me.
Actually, interesting enough, his name was never given in the book. They needed a name for the screenplay, though, which was the movie, so just for the hell of it, they named him Jack. Jack is the main character of the book. Jack is a very interesting person, actually. He's hanging in life by a thread. What Jack spends his time doing is Jack goes to support groups like AA groups, alcoholic groups, and sexaholic groups, and he just goes to these groups even though he's not a sexaholic or an alcoholic at all. He goes to these groups so he could feel bad for people and feel better about himself. So he's a bit of a strange character, actually. So Jack is pretty much doing fine with this with these groups. This is what's keeping him alive, basically. So one night at one of his support groups, he meets a girl called Marla. So Marla is basically the same type of character as Jack. Jack is Marla meets Jack, and Jack realizes that Marla is a faker like him, who just goes for the hell of it to feel bad about people, feel better about himself. Same scenario. And what Jack feels is that with another faker in the group, that he can't feel sympathy and he can't feel better about himself with another faker like him in the same support group as him and Marla. So what they decided to do, their first idea was to basically separate and divide the group so they could both go without feeling bad. And which that actually does not work out because they both like the same support groups and stuff. It's quite complicated. And then there's Tyler Durden. Tyler Durden is basically Jack's alter ego. Jack is since the dividing the support groups doesn't work out, Jack opens what he calls. He opens this with Tyler Durden, which Tyler Durden is himself, but his imaginary character. He opens this thing called the Fight Club. Fight Club is where adults get together and they basically beat the crap out of each other just to release anger and stress, and it makes them feel so much better about themselves. So that's really a complicated. That's basically most of the story, but a very complicated part of it.
Wow, that's very interesting. It's rather complicated though. Okay, all right. We got one more question for you before we reach our top 20 Mixdown 2010. So, okay, our last question is, what are you currently working on that we might be seeing in the near future?
Yes, actually, I'm writing a book called Joke. I figured I could, if I could write a dark comedy about violence and fighting, I could pretty much write a dark comedy about sex. So it's about sexually compulsive sexual addicts. The main thing about this is, so the main character is basically a sex junkie who goes to sexaholic groups, Sexaholics Anonymous, sorry, to find partners, and he always has them, and he's trying to bring these women home. So it's basically the same idea, and but he's not going for the right reasons. So well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to finishing that up.
Well, thank you very much, Chuck. That's all we have for you today. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Now, alrighty then. We're ready for our top 20 2010 California Mixdown. Alright, that was Alex Darsh on the banjo. Yeah. Alex Darsh, yeah. Alright, starting the countdown off with number 20, Stacy's Mom.